Amelia Santos-Paulino is the co-author of the report, and I asked her about its findings.
There are major disparities when it comes in global investment patterns between developed and developing countries. We are in a situation where global foreign direct investment were affected because of the multiple crises, but also SDG, the gap of the investment needs to meet the Sustainable Development Goals increased from 2.5 trillion in 2015 to over 4 trillion now. So basically, there are major drivers of this. One is that investment is largely concentrated in developed economies and in the larger developing and emerging markets. So foreign direct investment, international investment flows is largely bypassing the poorest and the more vulnerable economies like the least developed countries.
So why do you think that's, given that they are perhaps the ones that need the investment most?
Well, this is due to a multitude of factors. One is the increased needs, and the other is the new needs, but also the capacities for countries to prepare bankable projects, to attract investment due to different issues related to the economic environment, to the regulatory environment, to institutional factors, to the environment in general. So countries need support not only in attracting investment per se, but also to have the right environment for business to thrive and for investment to come into the countries.
So we have seen an overall drop in foreign direct investment. Do you think things will improve from here on in?
You're right. We show in the report that the prospects for international investment were particularly gloomy last year because of rising inflation, because of the global turbulence, the fears of a recession. All that affected investor sentiment and investors' decision and had an impact on foreign direct investment. But this decline was limited to financial activities between corporations, between multinational enterprises, what we measure through mergers and acquisitions data. But on the other side, we saw an increase in project announcement, especially in large developing and large emerging economies.
So some investment coming in then. What else can be done, do you think, to try and boost global sustainable development?
Well, an important message of the report is partnership, especially because in developing countries, bringing in investors, the cost of investment is high, especially in the renewable sector, which is characterized by a very high upfront investment. So partnerships are important, and we show how much the cost of debt and equity is reduced for investment in renewable energy when you bring in investors. But not only that, also partnerships that bring in multilateral actors, multilateral development banks, where governments are involved as well. And a very important factor here is the planning process of countries. We show in the report that over 147 countries have presented national determined contributions to the COP process, but only 40 have clear investment needs and also have identified how the needs are going to be financed. In the report, we propose a global action compact to respond to the challenges of international investment in the transition. And this compact contains guiding principles, basically with three objectives in mind. One is the energy transition, the other is ensuring energy security, and the other is how to help international policy making, both national and international investment in the form of the reform and modernization of international investment agreement. And above all, partnerships, global and in particular South-South partnership is very important to realize this compact